When I used to be a photographer many years ago, I would find myself falling in love with nature. Usually, I would be taking pictures of other people, weddings and baby showers. But as time went on, I started to really appreciate my love for Mother Nature. I started off taking pictures of the local scenery, mountains, animals, sunsets and sunrises. All very typical stuff. But then quickly found myself wanting to capture lightning. I had seen many people online with truly mesmerizing photos, and I thought I could do it too. I came across some dodgy looking site that gave a brief rundown on how to capture it, and that was about it. I felt confident enough in my own abilities, and got the gist. What I didn't know much about though, was lightning itself. Distance, timescales, how long it lasts, how unpredictable it could be. All of this was knowledge that I severely lacked in. It was coming to mid-August, and it was a lovely evening. Apparently the news had said a storm was coming, and I knew this was my time to go and capture it. One news story would be enough knowledge, right? I packed up my things, bouncing with excitement, but remaining cool on the outside, telling my wife where I was going to be, and giving a kiss goodbye as I could start to see the storm clouds encroaching. I had decided to head on down to the beach. It was quite a few miles away from where I lived, and from what I saw on the news, I should be pretty safe there. Before the storm even began, I was parked, camera out, and laying down in wait, ready to capture my shot. I didn't pay too much attention at first, but nobody else was around. No photographers, or just everyday people. I mean, of course the storm was about to hit any second, but where I was surely was safe, right? I smiled thinking I would get the shot of my life. The thunder rumbles above, and I hadn't seen lightning as of yet. I knew it came before the thunder, so I did glance around, making sure I wouldn't miss any precious seconds. As the night went on, I would see lightning a handful of times, with thunder literally seconds after it. I had no idea that the sound of thunder itself was a very serious warning that I too was within striking distance. I took photo after photo, confident I had captured something incredible. Then I noticed my hair beginning to stand up. I say this with horror, because it stood up. I could feel it. I knew about static, and how hair can stand up when that occurs, and so immediately felt truly terrified knowing I was outside in a storm. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I got up and thought I should just get back to my car as soon as possible. So terrified, I actually left all of my equipment outside as I began running literally for my life. The car was 10 minutes away in the car park, and it was pitch black. I hear thunder once again and stop, turning back as it sounded devastatingly close, and I see the biggest flash of my life. Everything goes dark. The next time I wake up, I'm at the hospital, saved. From what I was told, another photographer who had turned up in the car park, complete amateur like myself, said that the lightning had hit my equipment where I had been laying, and knocked me down with it too. Without thinking, he ran to me and carried me to his car where he phoned the emergency services, and I was essentially saved. My equipment wasn't so lucky though, but I learned the most valuable lesson that night. Do some major research on lightning, and don't ever think you are safe. I survived with pure luck, but not everyone does. It was such a perfect night. The storm was raging outside, and I find myself sitting at the window with a hot cup of tea on the small table and a book in my lap. I really needed to kick back and relax. It was quite rare to get stormy weather, so I didn't let the opportunity pass me by so easily. I'm an older gentleman, in my mid-50s to be a little more precise. My beautiful wife was still in work, as she was a nurse, and my children had all moved out to live their own lives. It was around 11 PM when the storm seemed to be right on top of me. The thunder was loud, the rain was pelting down. There was a handful of times I would have to pull the net away from the window just to make sure it was raining and it wasn't hailstone. Suddenly, a few chapters into my new book and the power goes out. Great. To reset the power, everything was placed outside in a smaller building that literally right across from the home. It was designed like that many years ago, and even though we had talked about changing it, we kept it as it is for the time being. It was always locked up to the hilt, and now is the bit that made me a little anxious. Going out in the storm wasn't something I wanted to do, but who knows how long the power would be out for. I searched through a few drawers, finding my torch, chucked on my coat, and opened the front door to be greeted by strong winds and the sound of thunder. I could just about see where I was going, and pulled up my hood as I ran out. I could see the lightning strike down in the distance, the white flash that I knew could kill me at any second. I was drenched to say the least, as I stumbled trying to unlock the door. My hands were trembling, these tired old hands. I unlocked the door thankfully, flipped the switch for the power. I looked back out to the house and see that the power wasn't coming back on. It was a massive power outage. I didn't feel any better about knowing that, and so took my last deep breath as I stepped back out into the rain. I was faster this time around, locking it all back up and running back to my house, when I see the biggest flash of my life right in front of me, with the thunder roaring almost instantly after. I froze, petrified as I had just seen lightning literally strike down in front of me. I have no idea why it didn't affect me in any way I was aware of, but I was unable to move for what seemed like eternity. This might seem strange to you now, but I felt like I could hear my wife calling me, telling me to get inside. I knew she wasn't home, but I felt it, and I was suddenly able to get back inside safe. I locked up my door, called my wife, and I remained shaking for quite some time that night. Never will I ever go back out during a storm.